What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be giving tips for first-time international travelers. I'm not saying I'm an expert or anything. I'm not a jet setter either, but I've been around a couple of times to know exactly what to look out for, what to expect, especially when you're traveling internationally for the first time. I'm just going to be giving out basics of what you should look out when you're going out of your country. And for me, obviously it's from South Africa, so I'm gonna give from our perspective, and that's that. And then if you're living in a different country, please do research based on your home country and also what you require from wherever you are based. So let's dive into it. First things first, as a South African, we all know that there are a couple of countries where it's visa free for us, and others it's visa on arrival. So the first thing I would say is, before you go anywhere, rule number one, do research on whichever country you're traveling to, because if you don't do research, you won't know exactly what is expected of you. Check if you need a visa, check if you don't need a visa, check if it's visa on arrival. And also, if it's visa on arrival or if it's no visa at all, also check which documents you need to have with you to enter that country. For example, if you're traveling to a country like Mozambique for South Africans, you do not need a visa. You go there and then they stamp you in at the border. But if you are going to be driving to Mozambique with your car, make sure that you have a border letter from your insurance company, or else your car will not be allowed to go through. And then when you get there, most of the things that you require, like a triangle, a fire extinguisher, a ZA sticker, and insurance and all of that, you can buy it at the border. So that is not an issue. But a border letter, you need to get it before you leave here so that you can be able to cross the border. Make sure that your passport is valid, because if your passport is not valid, you cannot go anyway. So make sure that your passport is valid, and then you also have bookings of wherever that you're going to be staying, in case they ask. Normally they don't ask for such things if you're going to Mozambique, so they just require your passport and papers for your car, and obviously insurance and all of that. But then if you hired a car which is going to be taking you there, obviously it's -1 problem. You don't have to worry about such things. Just make sure your passport is valid, and you also have a booking of where you're going to be staying as well. And if you're flying, and if you are going to countries where you need a visa, make sure that you check the website of that particular embassy to see the requirements of whatever that you're getting to in order to obtain a visa. Do that, apply for your visa. Another thing is that when you go apply for a visa, make sure that you are being 100% truthful on your application, because if you're not, they are going to deny you the visa. For example, if you've been denied a visa before, please state that you've been denied a visa before, or else they're going to pick it up. Even if you think that no, it's a different embassy, they won't pick up, yada yada yada, make sure you're truthful. They will find out, and when they do find out, they're going to deny you a visa. If you're honest about your denial, they can actually see you as a person that's trustworthy, a person that's reliable, and a person that takes responsibility, and based on that alone, they can actually approve your visa. Another thing is, make sure that you have a travel insurance. Travel insurance is there to protect you in case anything happens to you wherever you are. I'm not saying the plane is going to crash or anything, but you need that in case anything happens, so that you can be taken to a proper medical facility. So make sure it's not that expensive. You can get one on Sanlam. They have good rates, and it's not that bad. So you can Google as to where you can get an affordable travel insurance that will cover you. Make sure that you have a yellow card. A yellow card it's just vaccination. You go to a doctor, it costs about 200 or 300 rands. It's not that much. They give you a vaccination shot, and then you have that card. That card, I think it's valid for about 10 years or so, so you can just always carry it wherever you go. Not every single country requires a yellow card, but in case they do, always have it with you. Whether you can get public transport from the airport to the hotel that you're going to. But if you're not sure, safe option that you can ever take is to get airport transfer from your hotel. When you book your accommodation of the hotel, there's an option of choosing for airport transfers, and they can come and collect you at the airport. But then if you know that there are public transports available from wherever to the hotel, you can just take a train and bus into shop wherever you're going. Make sure you pack less. But as you are packing your clothes, pack clothes for every season. If it's summer, pack a jacket, or at least 1 or 2 jackets, just in case anything happens. And make sure that you carry comfortable clothes. If you know that you're going to be a tourist going around, pack comfortable clothes, sneakers, flats. You can wear heels, yes, they look fancy on on Instagram and all of that, but girl, you're going to get tired. you're gonna get tired. Comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes. You want to carry your heels, you can carry an extra luggage, and in your bag you can just put your heels in when you're tired and then put on your flats. But for me personally, I always pack comfortable so that I do not have to struggle, because I know I'm a tourist, I'm there to tour, so I'm going to be walking around a lot and doing a lot of sightseeing. So do research on what you're gonna do when you arrive there. Check how much it is to enter wherever that you're gonna go. Always best to stay near tourist attractions so that you don't have to spend a lot of money on transportation. You arrive, for me personally, I like having maps on me. So every single time I arrive in a country, I go to information, I request for a map, and it always makes things easy for me just to see where I'm headed. Countries, they sell the map, other countries offer it for free. Pack basic medication. For example, pack your headache medications, pack, if you know that it's winter, pack a bit of flu medication. If you are going to countries where there's health risks, for example, if you're going to Mozambique, if you're going to Nigeria, if you're going to Malawi, get anti-malaria treatment before you go, else if you go there, you will get malaria. But for me, when I went to Nigeria, I did not take anything and I was fine. So I was not exposed to malaria or any of that sort. Those countries where there's health risks, as they put it, not necessarily that there are, but anyway, as they put it, just make sure that you get anti-malaria. In Mozambique, there's a lot of mosquitoes, so get anti-malaria treatment before you leave, or else you are going to catch malaria and you're gonna get sick. Goodness. Food. Make sure that you know where you can get fast food, like in case you do not like the food where you are. Because for me, I had a lot of issues with food overseas. I did not enjoy French food at all. I hated it, and I made sure that I knew where to find fast food that I'm familiar with. I did try the food, but I didn't like the taste of it, so because of that I just opted for fast food, and which was best, because yeah, it was hectic. You can get snacks for yourself if you want. You can buy a few snacks that you can eat on the plane. Either way, the planes do provide food on board, but then at the same time, if you want something different, you can pack snacks for yourself. But then we also always remember that some countries do not allow liquids on board. For example, in London, when I was leaving London and I was going to Venice, I was not allowed to carry liquids. I had to throw it out. But then in Amsterdam, liquids was allowed. If you carry like normal sealed snacks, that's better, but liquids are a bit of a risk because others do not allow it. Another thing is that if you're leaving a country, if you have to be stamped out, make sure that you do get stamped out, because if you don't get stamped out, it's going to look like you are still in that country and you're overstaying. If they require stamping out, they do stamp you out. In London, they don't stamp out, they only stamp you in, and if you're going in, that's fine. But obviously, because when you land back home, or Tambo stamps you back in, which is good, so it shows that you actually lived that particular country. And when you go, because I know that some countries, if you don't stamp out or if you overstay wherever you are, the next time when you have to go apply for a visa, they can deny you the visa based on the fact that you overstayed, so which means that you can't be trusted, you're an untrustworthy person. So based on that alone, they have the right to deny you a visa. Like for example, even if you overstay in Italy, the UK can deny you a visa based on that, because I think they use the same server of some sort, so they can actually see online that you overstayed in another country, and they can always count against you. Upon receiving your visa, and then now you are leaving and you're going to the airport, driving to the airport, and let's say you're leaving now. As you are heading to the airport, before you leave, firstly, check in. It's always best to check in the night before, or it's nice because you can choose your desired seat. You can go to the window, you can go to wherever, because if you don't check in early, you're going to be seated in a seat that you don't like, and and that's that. Make sure that you print out all the copies of your proof of accommodation, booking confirmations. Make sure you print all of that out. Make sure you have a copy of your passport in case you lose your passport. Make sure you put in a copy of your visa, and also scan it to your email, and you have copies of that. I'm not saying anything is going to happen, but you must be prepared for for unforeseen circumstances. Sure, you check the exchange rate of wherever country that you're traveling to, just to know roughly of how much you should budget if you are traveling on a budget. But if you're not, but then you can just save as much as you can. When you get off the plane, you go to border control. As you go to the border control, obviously they check your visa, they check your passport, and they stamp you in. Sometimes it's always best, like I said. Now that's where the photocopies of your booking confirmations come in. Sometimes they can ask you to present the copies of your booking confirmation to see where you're going to live, or they can say you should show them your bank account to see if you have sufficient funds to sustain you while you are in that particular country. But that hardly happens, but it happens too sometimes. So just for safety reasons, make sure you have enough money, make sure you have copies of your booking confirmations in case they do ask. But then normally they just ask you simple questions of, for example, what are you here to do? And then you can obviously say I'm here for tourism, and and that's nice. And make sure that you have sufficient money in your account, and check the exchange rate of wherever that you're going to, especially with the rand now, because we all know the rand is weak. So you don't want to be in a foreign country struggling with no food. And make sure that you pay for your accommodation in advance, so that when you arrive wherever you are, the only thing that you have to finance your own activities and for going out to restaurants. If you have any opinions, or if there's anything else that you need to know about traveling abroad, please let me know. I'll make another video, maybe a part 2 or part 3 or whatever. So I'll make another video if you require me to give you more tips on traveling abroad. So but these are just the basics of what I know. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell for notifications. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next vlog. Bye.